Yo, welcome to another episode of Are We Clear? Yeah, we're seeking clarity through dialogue is how we move. It's your favorite podcast for all things lifestyle, culture, and subjects needing clarity. I'm Dino, and joining you are my good brothers per usual. We got Al.
What's up, bro?
Dub. And I am your boy, Dino. How we feeling today, Dub? How was your day?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm feeling pretty good.
You sound really down.
Excuse me. That's called fatigue. I'm a little fatigued, but we're gonna make it through. We're gonna push through because this is what we do. But other than that, I'm feeling pretty good, man. Life is good, bro. I can't complain. Life is good.
I love that. Al, how we doing today, brother?
Feeling better than good, man. New day, new life. Got a lot of things going on, man. My jit's about to be 2. Like, celebrating.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir.
That is a
Happy
beautiful thing.
Birthday. Hey, you know what? Just on a side note, JIT. You know, a lot of people don't know what JIT,
Is that a Southern thing or a Florida thing or a Miami thing?
Listen, I've seen people on social media spell it G-I-T, and I'm like, that's not how you spell JIT, bro. Like, JIT is short for jitterbug, which starts with a J. But I'm surprised that this my man right here used the word JIT, man. I haven't heard that in a minute.
Just trying to stay up with the vernacular, man.
Look, you just put me on to something. Jitterbug, and jitterbug starts with a G.
Oh, does it?
Does it? Isn't that what you just said?
No, I said jitterbug starts with a J.
Yeah, so J-I-T is how I've always spelled it.
JIT.
Yeah.
So, yeah, JIT is short for jitterbug.
Okay, I'm just making sure I heard you
J.
right.
Yes.
I think George Michael had a song with Jitterbug.
George Michael? Man, we going back in time.
Way back, brother.
There's also a cell phone called the jitterbug, too, where you give,
For children?
For children, yes. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but anyways.
That's very much on brand. So we got a few interesting topics to talk about today.
What are we talking about today, Dean? What are we talking about today?
We're going to be talking about how we're speaking to our loved ones, to our spouses. We're going to be talking about our individual opinions on what our spouses and loved ones are wearing. That can get really, really testy. And then we're gonna round it out with a little bit of a rip from the headlines type of story. I don't even want to preview it too much because I'm really excited to dig into it fully without giving out too much. But firstly, I got a question for y'all. And it's really a relationship check. It's kind of a self-awareness check, I would almost say. The question is, how are we speaking to our loved ones or our spouses, and how could we get better at doing that? So I think built into the question itself is, are we self-aware about how we're speaking to our spouses and our loved ones? Are we listening to our tone? Are we speaking to them in a way that they can understand and that they actually receive it? And so I think I'm going to pitch this to my boy, Al. What do you think about that?
Why, Lord, why? I mean, here's the real thing, man. I think all of us have definitely a lot of room for improvement. And I'm thinking about even myself. I mean, there are times that you take a lot of things for granted. You're used to that person always being there. You're used to always sharing, and you don't work on it as you should, thereby creating that deficit, in how you communicate. And I think a lot of us have a lot of work to do when it comes to that.
I love that point. And with that, I'm going to bring in a special guest to the pod. This is actually our first official guest to the Are We Clear pod. We can give her a hand. We got Tia in the house. Let's keep that applause going.
That's an ovation.
Real quick.
That's an ovation. We got a guest.
Tia, can you speak to this topic about how we're speaking to our spouses and how we're speaking to our loved ones, and what are the things that we probably need to be aware of that we're not doing?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me.
Yes.
It's really nice to be surrounded by such positive young men.
Come on.
I'm
Speak
not
us
positive,
up.
but
I
go ahead.
love it.
Somebody.
We need all the positive affirmation we can get.
And it's funny, guys get together and they shoot the breeze and they talk all kinds of garbage. So it's really nice to have this kind of an
Oh,
environment.
you're making us feel really good today. I love
the
it.
truth.
I love it.
you know?
I love it.
I love it.
So you get together as young men so you can empower
Yes.
other young men, especially the young men in the church.
Come
They
on.
need role models.
Come on.
Not rappers. So
Whoa. What was that? Another topic for future?
Might have to like write that down in the notebook.
Let's jot that one down. Let's jot that one down. Let's jot it down.
Talk about it, Tia. Tell me something.
With regards to this, like Al mentioned earlier, we get so complacent. So I've already gotten her. She's my girl. She's my wife. We don't stop and take any thought.
Yeah.
Yo, no, you don't get her attention that way. Hey, honey, baby, thank you, please. It still goes without saying. She puts supper on the table and you're like,
What's that? Supper?
yes. She puts supper on the table.
Getting hungry.
And you have to say, thank you. You know, you just dig in. No, she's not your maid.
Yeah.
And these things are done, and I don't think they're done purposefully. Again, we've gotten so complacent. And it goes the same way. He does something nice for you. Stop and say thank you.
Do you think we've kind of gotten into cruise control and we've gotten a rhythm and we think the rhythm is kind of self-sustainable and we don't have to kind of contribute anything to it? Do you think some of that's going on?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
I hear that. Dub, tell me what you're thinking about this.
I don't have a spouse or a loved one, so I don't have anything to add on this topic.
A best friend?
That was a joke, ladies and gentlemen. Because because he has had.
That wasn't a joke, but it kind of is a joke. I mean, I'm sorry. I'll take that back. It was a joke, but it wasn't a lie. But, you know.
Fair enough.
But yes, I did have a spouse at one point, and I have had loved ones at some point. And so I agree. The word of the day is complacency. Ooh, I can barely speak tonight. Let me put this cup to the side real quick. Okay, complacent. I think we do get complacent. People, the longer you stay, or live with someone, or stay around someone, or be involved with someone, you get complacent. You may not. Instead of going to open her car door, you may just go ahead and click the little clicker, the key fob, to unlock the door to have her let herself in instead of opening her door for her. It falls along the same lines.
What type of signal do you think that sends when you stop doing the things that you did at the beginning?
This is a issue in quite a few relationships and marriages, and it goes both ways. A lot of complacency happens. It sends. I don't know. I mean, it can send the message that you no longer care as much as you used to in the past, which may be accurate or may not be accurate. It could just be folks are getting lazy.
Right.
But how do you determine that?
So that brings up communication and having a safe environment to communicate and to share. So Tia, let me ask you this. When it comes to communication, are you the type to blatantly say, hey, I would like this to happen. I need this to happen. Or are you relying more so on him knowing or him observing or maybe some combination of the two?
A combination of the two. And you can't always leave things up to your significant other. Because again, men are oblivious to certain things.
Like
Very.
what?
Okay, I'm going to put myself in here. I've been married now 7 years.
Uh-huh.
And
Congratulations.
thank you. It's definitely a work in progress. My husband is a homebody. He'll bring the entire outside inside.
Literally, eh?
Literally, yes. So he's not the type to make dinner reservations. He'll go to the supermarket, make the purchase, come home. But he'll cook the dinner. He'll never be the one to set the table.
Okay.
So it agitates me.
Does he know that?
Yes. I've made it abundantly clear. But does he take it to heart? He's like, oh, I made the dinner and I thank you for it.
Yeah.
But just go the extra step. He's not the emotional type at all. It would not be him to light the candle. I have chargers, I have plates, I have cloth napkins.
You want to use them?
Yes.
Okay.
but that's not him. So when I do my thing, he's like, okay, hon, can we turn the light on? We're having dinner. It's candlelight, but he wants the light on. He wants to be able to see what he's eating. So,
And
like
you're a
I s-
trooper. You roll with it.
I do, but at the end of the day, it gets to me.
Yeah.
Yes, because then I'll bring it up. I'm like, look, I'd rather you not cook. And then I sound ungrateful because I'm looking for the whole 9 yards.
Can I ask you a question, Miss Tia?
Sure.
So, I have a habit because I can't cook at all. I mean, I can throw a couple of eggs in a pot, boil that. I mean, I know how to season some chicken and put it in the oven to bake. You know, I can do a little spaghetti. I can do, but I'm not a real cook. So when I have had women cook for me, what I do is I then turn around and I wash the dishes because I want to contribute in some way or some form. So if they cook, I'm gonna wash the dishes afterwards after we finish eating. So is that something that he's looking for? Like, since he did the cooking, he's looking for you to do the other half and set the table?
You know what? I've never looked at it that way.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking I roll a certain way. If I
Okay.
make supper, then everything is on the table.
That's part
so
of your
that's part-
supper making.
yes,
Okay, gotcha.
yes.
Is that like washing the dishes means that you also need to make sure to wipe down the stove and the counters.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. So
But it kind of seems like your level of completion isn't his, and he's doing probably a lot more than some other guys that are out there that might be doing, and for you it's just not enough. I like the pizza analogy.
Talk about it.
If you're hungry and I give you 6 slices, you're gonna complain about the missing 2, or you're gonna enjoy the 6 you receive. And I think to some degree we gotta start celebrating victories. And eventually, if there's a possibility that this person might get to do something that you would like him to do, versus, because I'm sure his heart is all in. He's cooking the food, he's seasoning it up, and when he's done, there's some love in that food. You know what I mean? But when you diminish that by telling him because he did not set a table, it's not enough.
it's not that it's not enough, and I don't think I've ever mentioned it not being enough. But I'm saying, you know what it is I like.
Yeah.
You understand?
You've
if it's-
made it known.
Exactly. So if it's even one night out of the many nights that you cook, we also have a 14-year-old son. So, he's very big on having supper as a family.
Yes.
Because by the time he gets home, that's the only time we get with him. So we try to keep up. How are you?
You want to
how
make
you
it very
doing?
special.
Yes.
And you're also looking for a response to your spoken desires.
Thank you. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Did you hear me?
So here's the thing. Let me jump in real quick. Now, is it a response based on your request, or is it a response that should come organically at some point? So let's say a year from now, he does it because he's heard you, he's felt you. I think it would be better him coming then doing that than just doing it out of response for what you said, because then maybe the sincerity won't be in it.
Like I said, I'm not looking for this every single night that he cooks. I'm just looking that if it's even once out of the month, that you would hear me.
Yeah.
It hasn't been done. I've said it, and he figures the hardest part was done. It's not that I'm being ungrateful. You are absolutely right. The hardest is we both work. And I've made the decision 20 years after coming out of school to go back for a career change. So I'm currently in school. We're raising a 14-year-old. So we both work full time. So I do appreciate him coming home from work
Absolutely.
and making supper until I get home from school.
Nice.
Kudos. I love him for that. But at the end of the day, complacency. So he's gotten so comfortable that I've accepted the supper. I've accepted his initiation. He initiates a lot.
Yeah.
But hear me, for that one night out of the month, I would like to feel like that girl. That night is special to me.
Because there is something about unfulfilled expectations. So if you have an expectation and you make the expectation known and the expectation never in your eyes becomes fulfilled, that builds a certain level of frustration, wouldn't you say?
Yes. And eventually, well, not for me, but I can see clearly where we'll get to frustration leads to resentment.
Right.
Because now you're definitely not listening.
Bingo. And I want to chime in because I wanted to know, because one of the phrases that I don't like when it comes to relationships and marriages that I hear all the time is you have to pick and choose your battles. And I don't know how I feel about that because, for instance, in this situation right now for Miss Tia, right? Some people may say, you know what, this is just one of those battles that she should not fight because he's cooking the food. So, you know, is this a pick and choose? This is a battle she should pick and choose to fight or not. But I don't know. I just feel like anything that is important to your spouse should be addressed and discussed. It's not like a battle that you have to choose to fight, because to me it's almost like when you pick and choose, the battles that you don't fight is almost like you're settling.
Yeah.
You really want to fight it, but you're choosing not to fight it just to keep the marriage afloat and together. So
Keep the peace.
or to keep the peace, right? To keep the peace. And you know what? When you keep the peace, though, sometimes
There's a cost.
right? You're not being fulfilled, and you're not having what you really want, those needs you really want met, because you have chosen to essentially give up because you're not choosing to fight that battle. So, Ms. Tia, with that being said, is this a battle that you would continue to fight? Would you consider trying to continue to fight this, or are you just going to say, you know what, this is how he is. When he cooks, he's just not going to set that table?
That's it. I hung up the armor. The sword is back in the sheath, and it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, my girlfriends are like, let it be, leave it alone. You know, we have partners who don't even turn the stove on, let alone complete a meal. Here you are, bitching and moaning about not having a table setting. Let it go. Let it go, Elsa, let it go. So over the years, I have, in fact,
like that.
just let it go.
Yeah.
I'd rather keep the peace, because a peaceful home is a blessed home.
Yes.
So it's okay. But what I do is I set the table.
Yes.
I light the candles. And again, what he won't do, it's my area. It's what I want. When we eat, I do just that.
Yeah.
I don't wait to put out the good china because listen, we're here this afternoon and we're gone tonight.
We're going to enjoy this.
Yes. So I do it. If I come home, especially on a Sunday, I'll go after church. He'll be the one to come home and cook after church.
Yeah.
While he's cooking, I'll set the table. When we're getting ready to eat, if I want the candles lit, I'll light them.
I love that. And speaking of deciding on when to let things go, I mean, Tia, you're a very attractive woman. And I say that
you.
with all respect as a
Sure.
married person. Do you find yourself during the course of your marriage having discussions about what's okay to wear out? You know, you're going out somewhere. I mean, does your husband have the ability to speak into what you're going to be wearing when you go out places?
Again, he's not the norm. I have an anomaly for a husband. Don't ask him how you look. Don't ask him about what you're wearing. He's not going to weigh in. The first thing he says to you is, do you like what you're wearing? Do you feel comfortable in what you're wearing? Then it shouldn't matter to anybody else.
So let me jump in here real quick. You know, I think set the stage in terms of not so much fashion consultant, but if you're gonna walk out the house, you're going to a formal dinner, you're gonna wear a bikini. Is that all right?
Oh, absolutely not.
So that's what you feel like wearing, though. Can he tell you you cannot wear that outfit to wherever we're going?
What do you think about that language? You cannot wear that. Are you okay with that?
No, I'm not.
What would you rather hear from him?
Hun, yes, whatever you, Tia, hun, whatever. I think you should reconsider what you're wearing. We're going here, And I think you would be best suited if you had on a dress as opposed to a shorts.
Now, do you kind of weigh in explicitly on like some things that he's wearing? Like, do you ask him, hey, maybe you should change that shirt, or maybe that doesn't look good with those pants?
Again, he's an anomaly. My husband is the type to put on a shirt and a pants. That's it. It could be purple and green, so he's not that type. It's clean. That's all he wants to know. It's ironed. That's it. Jeans. He'll wear jeans anywhere he goes. So yes, I'd have to say, hon, we're going out to dinner. I don't think jeans is an appropriate attire for the restaurant we'll be going. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, oh, it's one of those restaurants? You're like, yes. Then he'll turn around and put on a pair of dress slacks and a button-down shirt.
I'm gonna try to open this up a little bit because we got Tia on here, and Tia's being all sophisticated like Queen Elizabeth up in here.
Okay.
So let's touch this. So
Go ahead, because I was getting ready to turn it up. If you ain't turning it up, hey, I was going to turn it up.
We're playing games. We're playing games.
Yeah.
So I am walking around. Obviously, the woman I'm with, she's already my candy, right? So we don't need her advertising, is what we're really asking. Do we need her wearing her cheeks out, her bust exposed, walking down the street, flaging, showing herself to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes around? Like, can I tell her that, no, baby, we're not leaving the house looking like that?
Well, for me, okay, a spouse shouldn't have to tell a woman what to go out in.
Okay.
In an ideal world.
You have enough respect for yourself to know what it is to put on outside. Not only that, when you get dressed, I'm representing my partner.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
I'm
you
sorry.
have to keep that in mind.
Can you say that one more time? Because I missed it.
For the people in the back.
I
When
missed
you
it.
get
Okay.
dressed as a young lady in a relationship, you are representing the man on either your left arm or your right arm.
Well, I'll be
it's
damned.
not solely about you.
I like that.
Self-respect is one thing, but respecting and representing your partner is a whole nother ball game. So he shouldn't have to caution you as to what to put on. You should respect yourself enough to put on proper clothing to go outside.
I mean, that sounds great. It sounds good. Are you saying it? But I'm saying, we're talking about a woman who feels like, well, I'm a 2020 woman. I'm independent. I do my own thing. Nobody can tell me what to do. This is who I am. How are you going to tell me what I can and can't wear? I bought it.
That clearly isn't the woman for you. She's not going to be representing you. You can't take her everywhere you go. And if you're the kind of caliber of a man who has friends and family alike, then she's not going to be representing you anywhere you go.
Who raised you?
The thing is, I hear a lot that, because I think some women might accuse you right now of talking about, what is it, like respectability politics or something, something of that nature. Because some women, because what's considered respectable wear is going to differ from woman to woman and from man to man. But I think most men kind of understand listen.
Age for me is very important.
Okay.
You have from 18 to 30 to act a plum fool. After
All right.
30, you should have some standard. You get 18 to 30 to play around. When you get to age 30, you're now a woman. Carry yourself accordingly. You're 25, you're in the club, you're living your life. You're a quarter of a century. You get to be young and dumb. When you hit 30,
Okay.
all of that is over. You done played all you can play. Now it's time to respect you. And if you're going out there, something about you has to attract the man you want.
Oh.
So
Wait a minute.
Wait.
We're touching on some good topics. Go ahead,
Give me
Al.
a second, Dub. So you're saying it's okay at 25 to wear what you want and not be told what to wear.
Fine, we're getting it out our system. You lived with your parents. You were commandeered. You don't go here. You don't go there. You don't wear that out my house. You live in my house. You got to abide by my rules. We out now. So
Okay.
we get to be free. Mama ain't here. Daddy ain't here. You get to just run. There has to be a time that you have to stop and reflect. You're growing. You're getting older. Who do you want to become? That's all this is about.
Yeah.
Finding yourself, self-awareness. So most women go out there, I'm not the one attracted. I see women, I'm like, why are you out here in your pajamas? Why are you wearing your bonnet? Who do you expect to talk to? A respectable man? No, you're going to get Ray Ray from around the corner. All he wants is a piece of ass. That's it.
It's time. It's time to end the podcast. Y'all don't need me here,
Bruh.
You know, as long
I
as Miss
love
T is
this.
here, y'all don't need me here. I can go home.
T's bringing that goodness.
Bringing the funk
But
tonight.
I love it.
Listen,
It is. So you got to know that energy you give off is what you're going to get back.
Yeah.
We have a tendency, and like you mentioned about the clothes, you found me in a Daisy Duke and midriff. Now, why that we together, you going to tell me I need to wear jeans and a t-shirt? That's what you found me in. You don't get to tell me what to wear now. So women have to remember that. If the man finds you wearing silk, he ain't going to be crazy enough to buy you polyester.
So is there room for, evolution, growing, progressing? So even though I may have found you with the midriff and the Daisy Duke and the cheeks out, is it okay to, all right, like, what do you think about progressing to this or that? So can a guy speak to that?
The question is, how soon can you speak to that? And where are we going with this? Because it's one thing. If we're in a monogamous relationship
Yes.
now and you're pursuing me, we're looking to do something
Absolutely.
and to build.
Yes.
Then down the road, you can say, honey, it's 6 months, it's 9 months,
Okay.
it's now a year.
Yes.
I'm feeling you. I like you. I want to take this to the next level.
Yeah.
Then if after that year and she's still walking around that way, then it's a conversation to be had. Sit her down and say, baby, it's been a year. It's been great. I can't imagine my life without you. I want to build something with you.
Love
I want
it.
to go somewhere with you. But, can we, tailor your outfits now? They don't have to be Daisy Dukes. Don't take her shorts. Now they're Bermuda length shorts.
Okay.
And take the midriff down to the top of the shorts. Gradually, you'll get her now because she'll appreciate you. Because now she's in a relationship, she's growing.
But she has friends. How many of us have them? Friends. And these friends, for some reason, in the 2023 going into 2024, seem to have a flipped way of thinking. And they're going to say,
Girl, you done changed. I don't know who you are now. I'm growing. I'm a grown up now. Because I'm at that age. I'm done playing. I found a man that I can build a life with. Listen, you can't take everybody with you. No matter where you go, the different phases in your life, you're going to drop the baggage. Because
So-
not everybody is going to appreciate the growth.
So if he's suggesting, like, you know what, Tia, some of your friends, we have a certain value set. You and me, we have a certain value set. But some of your friends are kind of sprinkling in some other values that are not quite aligned. I mean, are you okay if I speak to the people that are speaking into our relationship? If I suggest, you know what, I don't think so-and-so is really aligned with where we are. Are you good with that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Because again, at the end of the day, not everybody is going to respect and appreciate my growth. It's about me. And I think a lot of us as women need validation. I've always said the most feared woman in this world is a woman that doesn't need validation.
But do we have some pews in here? Because I'm ready to run around some pews and shout right now because
You have to really know
attention
who
and-
you are, though. At the end of the day, it's you. It's about you. So we have friends. But again, I'll always say this. Not everybody will take the trip with you. Leave the baggage and move on.
but the mindset out there now is you're now a sellout. I mean, that's going to be what people will say. Coming on the show with us tonight, we really appreciate you, and we appreciate your views. But the prevailing thought, the prevailing concept about any of this is no man can tell me at any stage whether it's preteen, mid-20s, my mature 30s, whatever it's supposed to be at this stage. Like, I am independent. I make my own money. I can wear what I want.
Yeah, they'll consider her a sellout, or they'll be saying that she's controlled, or that she's allowing this man to control her.
You've given away your sense of individualism and identity to someone else.
Right. And here's the thing that I think that a lot of people miss, right? So for instance, let's just say I went to a strip club and I met a woman who was a stripper.
Right.
And for whatever reason, guys do this. I wouldn't do this, but for whatever reason, a guy meets a woman that he wants to pursue a serious relationship with, and he met her in the strip club. And so this whole idea of, well, she was a stripper when you met her, how can you tell her to stop stripping when you get with her? That's where you met her at. And so to me, I think a lot of people forget that when you are single, you can move how you want to move, when you want to move, how you want to move, without any thought with any about anything else. But once you actually get into a relationship, your moves, you now have to calculate or consider the feelings of the person you're with. That is people don't understand this, right? Or they forget this. When you get into a relationship, you now have to consider the person's feelings that you're with. You have to consider their feelings.
Yeah.
So if they feel like something is disrespectful, you now have to consider those feelings. And so now if that person now says, listen, now that we are together, I really don't appreciate you showing your body and having guys feel on you and all of that for money. I would like for you to stop that.
So would this be under the golden rule mantra where do unto others as you'd have others do unto you?
Well, see, here's the thing. At that point, she has a decision to make, because now he has said, you know what? I now have an issue with this. I now find this disrespectful to me. So she now has a decision to make. She can either respect his feelings, or she can keep dancing. Is there a compromise to that?
Yes, there has to be.
Well,
Because
what would
now
it be?
we have to look at the other side. Now, what skill set does she have? Can he take her out the strip club and put her in somebody's office to be a receptionist? So let's talk
question.
about her educational background. What would have led her in a strip club to begin with?
To pay
Was
for
it
to pay for nursing school.
To pay for nursing school. Okay. Fair enough. Now, with the $1,500 she was making for the 4 days she was in the strip club, now will he be able to now take on that responsibility? Because again, here she is, a conscientious young woman. She has a plan. Financial aid doesn't cover all her expenses for nursing school. So you're not talking about a chicken head. You're talking about a woman with a mission, a woman with a goal.
Okay.
So now this gentleman, while it's all fair and good that you are attracted to me and we're now going to establish a relationship, $1,500 is now missing from my obligations. Can you handle that financial burden?
But here's the thing. I'm not knocking the ambition. I'm not knocking the purpose. I'm not knocking the craft. At the end of the day, yeah, if he can't meet that need and that's still her ambition, she wants to be a nurse, give her that opportunity. I think it comes down to where, though, if we're using that as a means to an end, by all means, if that's the direction we got to go. But if you're going to flaunt it at me every single time, well, you knew what I was before you met me, and I could do what I want, I could be what I want, and I could dress how I want, and I could show what I want. I mean, at some point, if you're in a relationship, you have to consider or respect the other person's feeling.
Or stay single.
Not only that, let's talk about why she dresses so provocatively. Has anybody ever validated her? Does she even like herself?
Right, fair
she
question.
gets the most attention when she dresses this way.
What? Wait. What? Are you saying that? Wait a minute. Are you saying that the way women dress matters? Are you saying that the way women dress would get more attention than?
Of course, and you attract a certain
my
level
God.
of men when you dress a certain way.
Give me a second. Let me run. I need to run and shout.
I love that. And it actually brings us into something I want to talk about next. And that is on the subject of communication and trust. And he really went and ran around a little bit. For the people that can't see us, he really went and ran a bit because he's excited about this topic too. When it comes to the matter of communication and trust, when it comes to and we just talked about a hypothetical of a woman dancing as a means of income. Now, that scenario was kind of under the premise of some measure of communication. He knows what I'm doing for income. But let's switch it a little bit here. When it comes to communication and trust, does it matter if it doesn't involve him? Does it matter how I make the income? Meaning, let's take the spouse. If I'm in a marriage, do I need to communicate to the other spouse how I'm making income? Do they have to know every means of how I'm making income? Like if it's only involving me, does it matter? Do I need to tell the other person about how I'm making that income? I'm just going to put it there just for now.
Yes. RESPECT. Respect.
All right, Aretha.
You have to respect him enough. Again, when you get into relationships, it stops being about you. It starts being about us.
Okay.
Ours. We. So yes, you have to respect him enough to let him know what it is you're doing. Now for me, we're married and here we go. The CEO for your company likes his little fun on the side. He goes to the strip club and sees my wife. I took you to the Christmas party last year. How do you think that will now sit when I enter the conference room or the boardroom at work? My wife is a stripper down at Floozies. Really? Now that gives a stigma now into the office. Everybody's going to look at me. You really took that up and marry her?
Well, let me ask you this question. You find out that your spouse has been making money by maybe showing himself to a camera.
Male gigolo.
You didn't know about it, but there are some bills in the house that weren't getting paid, and he's just trying to find a way to meet those needs, but he didn't tell you about it. How would that make you feel?
Horrible. You're trying to help me? Indeed. LinkedIn, I'd rather you be a busboy. I'd rather you be a warehouse employee than do what you do that has the potential to come and bite us in the behind.
Now, is it because he didn't tell you, or is it because you just have a higher moral standard?
Both.
Okay.
I'd like to be involved in our house. It's our house. It is our bills. It is our responsibility. Now, what makes it any different? You're showing to yourself to the camera, you're selling weed. You're selling coke.
Well, selling coke's illegal.
Oh, never stopped anybody before. But he's trying to help me.
Uh-huh.
Don't help me by destroying me. The consequences are greater than the help you're offering. If that's the case, I'd rather take on a part-time job.
And that communication goes both ways. Let's say you've brought an issue like, hey, we're coming a little bit short every month. We need like an extra 1,000. And do you think it's okay, to do something on the side, on camera, to make up for that 1,000 on your own?
No, and no. Again, we do this now. We're looking for a temporary solution. Let's find a long-term solution, because if we can't find $1,000 March, chances are we're not going to find that $1,000 in April, May, June, or July. So let's sit down, put our heads together, and find out what it is we can do for the long term. You showing yourself here, there, and everywhere has a tendency. It's the internet. Things don't disappear. Funny enough, you'd be going for a job, and the now I hear that employers are now looking through your social media. Now that's a violation for me. What I do in my personal time has nothing to do with your employment time. It just so happens that it pops up. Now you've just lost a great opportunity because we had a problem and you found a band-aid to put on it. Let's suture the wound. Let's have surgery then. Don't put a band-aid on an open sore. Let's fix the problem
Together.
This way, we don't have to worry about it 10 years, 1 year, 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Together.
That's what's key, isn't it?
Because here's the thing, right? Again, when you peruse social media, you see a lot of, it's the black and white. It's either a white background with black wording or a black background with white wording. And it's just a bunch of just quotes. And, when you read these quotes, they sound good. And, people like and love these quotes. And it's funny because I always wonder how many people are actually applying this stuff. But also, I realize that a lot of them contradict each other. You know what I mean? And I won't run through all the examples, but one that I think about right now is individuality in a marriage. Like, because that's essentially what we're talking about right now. Because in my opinion, a marriage, you're a team. You are a team. So, how much individuality can you have in a marriage? And if you are going to your spouse and you're saying, this is what we need to do, or this is the issue, and the spouse does not figure out a way how to fix it, do you still go and make an individual decision for the marriage, or do you consult your partner? So like, what's the percentage?
Yeah.
Do you consult your partner 100% of the time? Is it less than 100%? Is there any individuality? And, I don't know.
People have this notion that marriage is an institution. We're not institutionalized. I am an individual in my marriage. I can't get lost in my marriage. I have to still be me at the end of the day. I still have to be comfortable with my individuality. Now, marriage is a bond. Marriage is communication. And that's all we're doing is communicating. Whatever happens affects us as a whole. It's not affecting us individually. The mortgage not being paid is not because Tia didn't pay the mortgage. We didn't pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
You understand me? So, yes, while we are in fact married, to thine own self be true. I have to still be true to who I am. But when it comes to the things of our marriage, then yes, communication, open communication. I still need to be able to say to you, hon, listen, they're downsizing at the office. 40 hours is now 30.
But let me challenge you on that, because what if part of I still need to be me involves wearing Daisy Dukes, and your husband don't like you wearing Daisy Dukes to 163rd Street Mall? I'm not sure if that mall still exists, but like your individuality, you still need to be me. Being me is I like putting on a pair of Daisy Dukes and going to the mall. But now
No,
your husband
how
doesn't like
about
that,
you wear
so-
the Daisy Dukes in the house?
Oh,
Wear the Daisy Dukes in the house and
that's-
keep
that's
the
awesome.
marriage evolving. Keep the
Oh.
marriage spicy. Keep the marriage growing. Don't take, again, your age. How old are you? Why are we 35 still wanting to wear Daisy Dukes in the street?
So would that be a compromise?
Oh, hell yes. COMPROMISE. Learn the word, ladies.
Did she check it out? Did she spell that right? Let me check my spell checker. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
I think she did, but I'm thinking about it now.
Is it a
Or guess what? You can come promise me.
promise?
That's
me?
it.
But I mean, what about what about if part of your individuality is when you are at a birthday party and Uncle Luke come on, you like to bend over and twerk a little bit. and he doesn't like that.
You are in public. Again, I said this earlier. Represent your husband. We can take Uncle Luke into the back patio and cut the lights off, and you can have all the backing up you
But
want.
Tia, the women, they're just having fun. They just want to have fun. They, like twerking in the club.
Time and place. Time and place. My potential employer is at that birthday party. Now picture me carrying on and looking for a job. Again, remember, we have a problem. We need an extra $1,000, and I'm not going on the internet showing any part of either you or I on the internet.
So what if it's just, you and the friends, you and and your peers? What about there? Is that cool? Uncle Luke comes on. You just want to have a little fun?
Like in the hotel room. It's just you and your girls, like in the hotel room.
Of course,
Yeah,
it's
that's
me
fine,
and
right?
my girls. It's okay.
No, I'm talking about like at a
the
social,
birthday
like
party?
at the birthday party, like no employers, no, you're not taking work to this.
No,
This
it's
is
not that
purely
we're taking work.
purely your social group now. So this is like your home girl, like your sister, like your
Oh, it's Steph's birthday party, and we're together as a set of girls.
yeah. What and the guys are there too. Like if it's just your friends, apart from anyone from work, like is that still public or is that kind of semi-private? How would you treat that?
Definitely private. No, I don't want to go out and be carrying on a certain way.
Gotcha.
Again, I got to represent my household.
Yeah.
I have a 14-year-old son. People these days put everything on social media.
Imagine your 14-year-old son seeing you twerk.
Seeing mama carrying on
Whoa.
like that. No,
Yeah.
so I'm always very cautious. Things don't hurt you now, they hurt you later.
Got you.
I'm
I
not
like
one
that.
for instant gratification.
Yeah.
But your 14-year-old son, I'm sure you're raising him right. You're home. He sees a morally uncompromised woman, uncompromised, whatever the word we want to use.
Compromise me.
Promise me. And you have represented well as a female in his life, at home, whatever the case might be. You don't think your 14-year-old can compartmentalize, where he can understand who you are, but also know that mom can have some fun too? Because I'm saying this. Here's what I'm saying. I am on the end of, at some point you got to mature, right? But I'm also on the other end. If I go out with my friends as a woman, and it's a healthy situation where we are, it's not anything provocative, it's not anything intense. We're just out having fun. Girls are getting drinks. It's a Friday night. We decide to go hang out together, and a song comes on in the restaurant. Why can't we just have a little fun?
Wait, is your fun? Talking about your fun? Is it twerking over food? Like just bending over and twerking, shaking, clapping butt cheeks over your prime rib. Is that what we're talking about, Al?
I mean, as long as we're not making the au jus with the butt cheeks. But I'm saying at the end of the day,
Fancy.
fancy. At the end of the day, for me, I'm saying, is there room in this to have some fun? Whatever that fun is. And I'm not talking about restricted fun or unrestricted fun. I'm saying this is not where we know each other. So I know what my husband would respect, what my husband would like. And just speaking from a woman's perspective, obviously. So I'm going to do that knowing that my husband's okay with this. Whether it's a dance, it's a twirling, it's a whatever the case might be. But I'm not going to strip, I'm not going to jump on top of the bar. I'm not going to carry on. I'm just going to have a little bit of fun. It's my girls' night out. And my girls understand. Because remember, we had this conversation before where my girls understand my moral values,
Yeah.
what my husband and I or my boyfriend and I are building. So for me, those girls who I'm with would not allow me to go past a particular limit knowing what I'm about.
And you mentioned that. I mean, that's a great point. You're mentioning conversations being had before, and also understanding what your partner likes or doesn't like. Mm-hmm. So, there are guys who don't care. They don't care if their woman goes out in public and twerks. There's some guys who just don't care about that. They don't care. And then there's some guys that do. So you have to know your partner.
Yeah.
Right.
Critical.
And so if you are with one of the dudes who cares about that, then you have to govern yourself accordingly, or else he's gonna find that disrespectful to him. So again, you still have to make a choice on how do you proceed with that? Are you willing to compromise in a situation like that, or you're not? That's that's it. I mean, because either you're gonna respect his feelings or you're not. And again, this works both ways. You know, I don't want to, because it feels like I know some women might hear Miss Tia and be like, you know,
I got a stick broken up my behind.
yeah, oh, you're right. Or like, you know, how come it's always the women that got to be respectable, and why is there so many rules and constrictions on women, you know, and all this, you know,
And it's 1,000% a two-way street. Both sides are accountable.
like both sides have to respect what, again, if, and I don't care. I mean, I'm just gonna use this as a dumb example. You know, like a woman could find the way that I talk to drive-through attendants. You know, they may say, because, you know, I've pulled up to drive-throughs before, and I'm a friendly guy, and you know, I have pulled out from a McDonald's, and I have had a woman ask me why you had to be so friendly to that drive-through attendant, and I'm like, what do you mean? To me, it was nothing. So to that woman, she has an issue with me being over friendly.
Red flag insecurity.
drive-thru.
Red flag insecurity.
So I have a
Drop
choice.
her off.
Right. So I have a choice to make. If I want to stay with her, if my decision is to stay with her, I need to respect the fact that now when I pull up to the drive-thru, I need to bring it down a couple of notches in the drive-thru if I want to stay with her.
Choices.
But I still have to make the decision. So either I'm gonna say that's dumb and leave. But if I decide to stay, then to respect her feelings, I need to tone it down in the drive-thru.
So in both cases, there is some latitude then, because at the end of the day, now this is where it starts. She let you know at that moment in time that bothers me, and you say, okay, I'll work on it. So over time, this will change. So it isn't like you're gonna flip a switch, snap a finger, and you're good. And I think it's the same thing over here with the women, that these are behaviors that if you intend to make this relationship work, you both have to be willing to, what's that word again, Tia?
Compromise. Put in the work.
Promise me. I love these concepts of communication and respect and compromise and transparency. Tell me what it is and tell me what it isn't. Tia, you are our first guest, and I have to say you kind of knocked it out of the park. Can we just give it up for Tia real quick? Thank you so much for dropping in and giving us your insight and your wisdom. And I think everyone's going to get something out of this episode. But unfortunately, that brings us to the end of this episode of Are We Clear Yet? Thanks for joining this discussion. We hope you enjoyed the show. As always, thanks for listening. If you want to show us some love, please like, follow, subscribe, and share us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And be sure to come back next time for another great discussion. You've been hanging with my boys, Al, Dub, and our special guest tonight, Tia. I'm Dino, and we are out.
Thank you, Tia. See y'all.
Bless.